Am I the a-hole for giving my mother an ultimatum to choose which child she wants to live with her? I moved in with my mom after she got sick to help her. 3 months later, she told me my brother was moving in to help too. I was less than enthusiastic, as my brother is always bullied and taken advantage of me, and my mom's enablement of that sours our relationship. I was basically treated like I was a bad person for not believing my brother has magically became a different person in adulthood. My mom decided a compromise was to have him sign an agreement of his duties and our expectations for the shared living space, as well as what we all would be contributing to the household finances. I'm not trying to turn this into a pity party, but essentially, he has not lived up to a single item once. He has never taken out the trash. It's always later. I joke about it. He makes my life here miserable and filthy. He's always introducing drama and problems that beggar belief. Well, I found out my mom has needed my financial help more lately because he hasn't contributed a single dollar toward food or utilities while driving both up, and she's been trying to cover up for him. So I'm subsidizing him, treating me like a house elf, and he won't help me with her appointments or clean up after himself, let alone contribute to chores. We had a fight this morning because he left wet clothes in the washer, so I had to move them to the dryer, like always, to wash my mom's sheets, and then I had to move them out of the dryer because he wouldn't come down to get them. He was upset I left them dumped back in his laundry basket and said I should have folded them so they won't wrinkle. He never folds his clothes, they're always wrinkled. He was demanding I iron his clothes, and my mom was trying to say she would do it for him, and I just lost it. But it was more like the straw that broke my back while they're trying to focus on it as a single overreaction. I've never hated anyone more in my life. He's the crappiest person I've ever known. So I told her it's him or me, that I'm moving out ASAP if she doesn't give him a deadline to move out. I said I'd still go to her appointments and stuff like that, but I won't live with her. My mom is hysterically upset and saying that he can't take care of her if she's sick at night, and she doesn't understand how I can be so cruel to ask her to choose between her children. But I feel like she already did a long time ago. I feel guilty to put her through this, but I also feel like this is not my fault, and I have to maintain my own sanity. I feel like crap, but I don't know what else to do. I clean the house only to wake up to it trashed every morning, and lately I've been wishing I wouldn't wake up. Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. This has gone on far too long. There is no impetus for your brother to change, so he won't. Your mother is wrong that he can't take care of her at night. More likely she won't admit to you nor to herself that he won't. As you rightly pointed out, she's made her choice. You've tried to help her, she squandered that opportunity, and now it's time to help yourself. Move out. Skip the ultimatum. They can and will figure this out when they have no other options. Not stay home. The thing is, she's right. He won't step up. He didn't when I had to travel for work. I had to call a friend in the middle of night because he was outside in the shed, ignoring her calls for help. When you move out, you are going to have to turn your phone off at night or she will be calling you and asking you to come and help her anyway. I know it sounds heartless, but for your own sanity, you will have to make yourself unavailable. That's the other hesitation I have. I can't afford to live that close. It'd be at least a 45-minute drive with no traffic. And you're right. She would absolutely ask me to drive that at 2 a.m. if my brother makes a single excuse. I don't know if I could be strong enough to know she's suffering. I don't know how he does it. Not stay home. She's made it clear she favors your brother while knowing he can't actually care for her. Let her lie in the bed she's made, or hire some help. No, it's more than this. She got you to move in with her to take care of her, and then invited your brother to move in with you for you to take care of him too. You said you wouldn't, and she lied to you and did it anyway. OP, she knew deep down that she was inviting him in for you to take care of him. She knew. She thought she had you over a barrel because she needs your help. She does not have you over a barrel. When you move out, cut contact for a while. Otherwise, you'll be paying for 2 separate households when she starts to complain about not having enough money. And I think you'll find that the second the cash cow goes no contact, suddenly your brother will find a wherewithal to take your mother in and get her on a government program she should already be on. Next story is titled, Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit for my sister and leaving her without anyone to watch her kids? I'm 18 female, still in high school, pertinent to the story, paralyzed, also pertinent. My mom is 45. My sister is 28 and has 3 boys ages 10, 6, and 3. 4 years ago, I was in a car accident and came out paralyzed from the waist down. It has been hell having to learn a new way of life, but I haven't let that stop me. I'm going to be going to college out of state next year and graduating in the top 10% in my school if things continue as they are. The one major thing that is a complete bummer out of all of this, other than the obvious, is that my mom thinks that I am now a free babysitter for whenever one of my older brother or sister needs one. She never consults me on these and expects me to drop plans at the drop of a hat. This past Monday, I told my parents about a Christmas movie extravaganza sleepover my friend has been planning. It's gonna be 3 girls, and we were planning on making brownies, cookies, watching really cheesy Christmas-themed romantic movies, and just girl stuff. It wasn't Saturday, yesterday, and my parents said they had no problem with it. Yesterday arrived and I'm just about to roll out when my mom comes and says my sister is on her way with her 3 boys. Apparently she asked mom if I could babysit the other day and she said yes. Didn't even bother telling me about it. I said hell no because I already have plans. We fought and mom ended up storming off because this one time I wasn't backing down. I took the time and left, turning my phone off when I got into my friend's car. Today when I got home, I got called an immature a-hole basically. My sister was left without anyone to watch the kids during her husband's work Christmas party. That I went back on my word that I didn't make. Mom told me that I should be grateful she gives me something to look forward to, babysitting, because I have no real social life being paralyzed. I just went to my room and cried. But now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole like they say I am because I refused to babysit and then left my sister in the lurch? Not the a-hole. Your family members all suck. If your mom is that concerned about your sister having a babysitter, she can watch the kids herself. She refuses to. The 10-year-old is a major brat, and not anywhere close to a good kind. Not the a-hole. That paralyzed comment was a low blow and unacceptable. I would never babysit again. I've been paralyzed for 20 years and my social circle is small but tight. I really want to have a strong word with your mom. You didn't deserve any of that. I'd put your foot down and stop. Call CPS if they leave them with you. Use their words against them. I think that's what hurt the most. This is also the woman who once told me, before they let me come home, that I could make my life what I want despite everything I'd lost. Not stay home. No social life, huh? So what was the Christmas movie extravaganza sleepover you had planned and attended that they know you had plans for? Your sister needs to take responsibility for her own kids. And family are not automatically babysitters when she needs them. Even if you had volunteered your time, at least a day in advance unless it's an emergency, is something that would need to be respected. What's your plan for when you're at college? Your visits home will be monopolized by babysitter volunteered on your behalf. They don't know where I'm gonna be going at the moment. Haven't quite broken that news to them yet. Won't do that until springtime. Next story. Am I the a-hole for arranging for my wife's parents to spend Christmas celebration with us without telling her? I, male 27, have been married to my wife, female 26, for 2 years, and we're expecting a baby boy together. My wife has been in contact with her parents because of issues that occurred between them during her teenage years. She said it was because of the way they treated her late boyfriend and their 7-year-old son. She stopped seeing them after she moved out with my stepson, but she went back to introduce me, and things were fine till a little before we got married. My wife went no contact after she claimed my mother-in-law stole all her wedding jewelry and sold it. Now, I'm not sure if that was accurate or just an excuse my wife used to get me to stop asking. A few months ago, my mother-in-law as well as other family members reached out to me and we had conversations, without my wife, about how innocent my mother-in-law was. It was falsely accused by my wife to get back at her for past issues. I really felt she was sincere, especially after she said she wished my wife would give her another chance. I had an idea, which was that I invite my in-laws over to celebrate Christmas with me and my wife, and hopefully talk things out once and for all. I didn't tell my wife because I didn't want her stressing over the gathering. But days ago, I came home and she began yelling at me asking what I was thinking to invite her boys and enemies to our Christmas celebration. I tried to explain that her parents are very sincere in wanting to start new with a baby coming, but she yelled that they didn't even treat my stepson or his father well. I don't deserve to be near the kids and said I needed to cancel immediately. I suggested she calm down first and we'll talk, but she refused and packed her stuff and went to stay with a friend, repeatedly saying I disrespected her and ignored her decision when it came to her family. I spoke to her friend and said maybe my wife should let bygones be bygones, and that she might be dealing with stress and is lashing out for no reason. But her friend said I overstepped and it wasn't my business to try and fix whatever issue she has with her family. and told me to back down and cancel the invite since my wife said she won't be there. But I think she's holding on to grudges and being bitter instead of settling things down with her family. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments. You're the a-hole for trying to trick your wife into doing something she didn't want to do, for choosing to believe people you've never met over your wife, and especially for doing both of those things during a holiday that's supposed to be about celebrating the family important to you. So Opie, 1, believes his own wife to be a manipulative liar who would tell him falsehoods just to get him to stop asking. Was he badgering her? Want to take bets? About things that have nothing to do with him. 2, doesn't trust his wife's perspective at all. About the things which have happened to her or things which other people have done to her and her child. Just flat out thinks she's making it up. But he'll stay married to a person who he thinks is a manipulative liar. Out of what? Convenience? 3, feels himself to be in a sufficiently superior position to hers that he gets to make decisions about who she sees and spends her holidays with, regardless of her boundaries. Do you think he realizes that is bought and owned by people who mistreated her? That they did a nice little, a Mass Effect style indoctrination? Made him their flying monkeys, stuck their fingers in his brain and muddled it up until he's his own wife's enemy? Do you think he's ever going to realize it? People like this are dangerous because of how effectively they convince ignorant people that they are the injured party. When my mother talks to other people about me, she tells people how I'm a very angry young woman. She doesn't tell them that she laughed when I told her about the miscarriage. You're the a-hole. Congrats, you got your submission in time so you can qualify for one of the biggest of the year. Your poor wife not having a husband who is her partner and who supports her. You're the a-hole big time. I would leave you for this. When someone tells you they cut contact because of how they and people they love, including a child, were treated, the answer is not to invite the harmful people into the family home on a holiday and let them know about the baby. This is not your family and it is not your decision. At a minimum, you should have clearly communicated with your wife, but instead you've gone behind her back and taken her family's side. To me, that is straight up betrayal. I don't know how you can rebuild trust here. Now for the last story. Am I the a-hole for kicking my in-laws out after they said they'll call the police on me for how I'm treating their son? I, female 33, have never been on good terms with my in-laws, but we tolerate each other and are civil. My husband, male 30, is sick right now. He was involved in an accident 2 months ago. It was bad, and we almost lost him. He's still bedridden and is very restless because of his medication. He'd end up falling out of the bed several times, resulting in more injuries. I had to lift him off the floor by myself every time, which I could no longer do because of my own health and my unborn baby's health. I'm 6 months pregnant, and my in-laws don't help at all. I ended up getting him a floor mattress that he sleeps on currently, and it's so much better. However, when my in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law 1, sister-in-law 2, and kids, brother-in-law 1 and brother-in-law 2 and wife and kids, and also my husband's grandparents and aunts, visited, which what they do often, they don't help with anything and even bring their own food to eat without me now. After calling a terrible host just because I refused to cook for them, while also expecting me to clean up after them. They saw my husband sleeping on the floor mattress, and they lost it on me saying their son should be sleeping on his bed, not on the floor, and accused me of neglecting his health and purposely making it worse even after. I explained my reasons for getting a mattress, but they demanded I return him to the original bed, or they'll call the police on me for my mistreatment of their vulnerable and helpless son. I had an argument with them about their lack of support, and told them from now on they can't and will not be allowed to visit anymore, after they basically said they'd call the police on me and had them leave immediately. They mass blasted me online and on social media calling me out for 1, mistreating their son, and backed it with pictures my sister-in-law 2's daughter took of my husband sleeping on the floor mattress without asking first, and 2, banning them from visiting to see and check on their sick son, constantly expressing how concerned they are for him. That sparked more rage and involvement from distant family members, urging me to stop what I'm doing because it's wrong and outrageous. I tried to tell my side of the events, but was told they can't consider the entire family liars since they all witnessed the same thing, and that is blatant neglect. I'm now required to apologize and let my in-laws back into the house, but I just can't take it anymore with how criticizing and demanding they are. Am I the a-hole? Info. What's your husband's opinion on all this? It would be pretty easy for him to set the record straight, no? Excellent question. Can he or can he not speak for himself? In all honesty, I doubt these a-holes would care. They're so self-centered that they think Opie should be hosting them when she's 6 months pregnant and taking care of her bedridden husband. They still have the audacity to come over and criticize her without doing anything to help. Even if Opie's husband said something, they'd probably look at it as, oh, she's brainwashed him. She's such a horrible, cruel person. Please save our poor, sweet child from her monstrous clutches before he's completely under her control. Not stay home. That said, it might have been a better strategy to call their bluff and get someone to ring the police. That wouldn't have ended well with them. It sounds like you were being harassed for doing the right thing by your husband. Wish I had some advice to give you. They suck. Anyway, good luck. If they have a problem with his care, why don't they pay for an in-home nurse or some support system, rather than leave it all up to his pregnant wife? Not stay home. However, don't respond to online posts/comments. Get your husband involved. Call a lawyer in case they try to sue you. Ask a health professional to offer suggestions. Being pregnant is not a disability, but sure it does put your body under stress. And lifting heavy or running around doing errands surely is not the medical advice for a 6 months pregnant woman. Lastly, do let them visit individually to avoid them suggesting you were prohibiting them from seeing their unwell family member. I think in some countries this is an actual crime. You've got nothing to fear, and if the police come, and you have already had a lawyer consultation, they will be able to tell you what to say to ensure the truth is not bended and used against you.